Today we are covering household employment taxes, a topic the exam will test using scenario-based questions that require you to know several key dollar thresholds and filing requirements. The core issue is determining if a taxpayer who hires someone to work in their home is considered an employer. If they are, they become responsible for employment taxes, which are reported on Schedule H, Household Employment Taxes, and filed with their Form 1040. The first and most frequently tested rule is the cash wage threshold for Social Security and Medicare taxes, often called FICA taxes. For the 2024 tax year, if you pay a household employee cash wages of $2,700 or more, you are responsible for these taxes. The exam will give you a scenario. For instance, a family pays a nanny $3,000 for the year. Because this exceeds the $2,700 threshold, the family must withhold the employee's share of FICA, which is 7.65%, and also pay the employer's matching share of 7.65%. A common exam trap is to include non-cash wages, like lodging or food, in the calculation. Remember, this $2,700 threshold applies only to cash wages paid. Next, you must know the rule for federal unemployment tax, or FUTA. This is where the exam loves to trick candidates. The FUTA threshold is different and is based on a quarterly, not an annual test. You are subject to FUTA tax if you paid total cash wages of $1,000 or more to all household employees in any single calendar quarter of the year. The exam might state that a taxpayer paid a housekeeper $4,000 for the year, with payments of $1,000 in each quarter. In this case, both the FICA and FUTA thresholds are met. However, a different question might say the housekeeper was paid $4,000 in a lump sum in December. Here, the annual FICA threshold is met, but only the fourth quarter FUTA threshold of $1,000 is met. The employer would owe FUTA tax, but only based on the first $7,000 of cash wages, which is the annual FUTA wage base. Another critical point is income tax withholding. Unlike FICA taxes, withholding federal income tax from a household employee's pay is not required. It is completely optional. However, if the employee requests it and the employer agrees, the employee must provide a completed Form W-4. The employer then withholds the tax and remits it. When it comes to filing, everything is tied together on the employer's personal tax return. The employer will calculate the total FICA and FUTA taxes on Schedule H and attach it to their Form 1040. They will also need to issue a Form W-2 to the employee by January 31st of the following year. A classic exam question will try to confuse you by suggesting a Form 1099 NEC should be issued. This is incorrect. If the worker is a household employee, they must receive a W-2. An independent contractor, like a plumber you hire for a one-time job, would get a 1099 NEC, but someone whose work you direct and control, like a nanny, is an employee. To keep the main threshold straight, use this phrase: FICA is for the full year's pay, but FUTA is for a quarterly day. This helps you remember the $2,700 FICA threshold is an annual figure, while the $1,000 FUTA threshold is tested each quarter. Always watch for the distinction between employee and independent contractor, the difference between cash and non-cash wages, and the specific forms required, as these are the precise areas the exam will target.